Hi, I'm Dr. Vonda Wright, and this is Hot for Your Health.
My father was in pain. That's why he drank the way he drank. That's why he made the choices he made. I actually have massive empathy for my father and compassion. Why? Number one, he's never going to have a chance to love the way I love. He's never, ever going to connect with my brother and I the way that I do with my daughters. He wasn't loved as a child. He was emotionally unavailable. I now have empathy for that. Do you see the shift? I have no anger. I feel sad for him. I feel sad for anyone that lives that way because it's painful. And he might be completely unaware of his pain, but he's in pain because he's angry and he has no patience and he doesn't like to connect with people. So he's missing out on a big part of life, and he almost died last year. A very near-death experience. It was the first time I saw him actually shift his perspective of what family is and what living is. And he softened. And I actually feel sad for him that it took him that many years, at 80 years of age, to get that. But these principles that I'm about to walk through with you all come from these experiences, all come from an understanding. Because for me, my degree was in psychology and education. And I now look back and I realize I went for that degree in psychology, which I thought was like gym class. It was so fun for me. Couldn't wait to get there. There was not enough classes being offered for me. Why? Because I was seeking understanding of life and understanding of that better way that I knew intuitively as a child that there had to be. And now I get to apply all of these life experiences to that knowledge and help other people. And so to live an empowered life, there's 7 habits that I've come up with that I think are the foundation. This really opens up the floodgates of a way deeper conversation about emotional intelligence, which is my favorite thing in the world to teach. But emotional intelligence is really self-awareness, right? The more you become self-aware, the less you are affected by anything else going on around you, and the more you are at peace and empowered within yourself. So I'm going to help you all raise your level of self-awareness, your emotional intelligence, so you can take these action steps out of here today and apply them to your life, and hopefully continue on that journey. The number 1 habit of an empowered person is mindfulness. So often we walk around this world as adults like a child being blindfolded with a bat and a piñata at a birthday party. Imagine that, right? Remember kids being a kid, or if you have kids, you've done this recently. I have. They blindfold on, you give them a bat, they just start swinging around and hitting things. That's most adults going through life, causing damage and pain to other people, not even aware. They're not doing it on purpose. It's not intentional for most. It's because they don't know any better, because they're not self-aware enough, because they're reacting versus responding to life. They're reacting to pain. They have defensive mechanisms. They've created walls around them. They think the more vulnerable they are, the more weak you are. By the way, the more vulnerable you are, the more courageous you are. Way more courageous. And that shows to everyone. That's when you become that radiant person that everyone just wants to be around. Mindfulness. I try to give people an image of mindfulness where it's almost like you're standing above yourself watching your movie unfold. So if you ever want to try and really get to a higher level of mindfulness, you stand outside of yourself looking down on your story, looking at your movie that you're creating, by the way, by your choices every single day. Life doesn't happen to you. You choose how life unfolds. Very different. Mindfulness, starting with every thought that you think. Are you thinking negative thoughts or are you thinking positive thoughts? I start my day with a mantra that I only have good days. I only have good days. And guess what? I'm not saying that I don't have problems, but if you start with the mindset of I only have good days, it's a lot better than saying, man, I have the worst days ever. Because now you're just going to attract more of those things. When Madison and Morgan were 5, they were riding around the house on the scooter. There's those little razor scooters. And Morgan fell and she said to me, Mommy, I'm having the worst day ever. Took everything for me to not laugh at that moment. And I said, you know what, honey? Guess what's going to happen with that mindset? She said, I'll have more of a bad day. I said, yeah, that's right. I said, so you need to mentally reset. Hit the mental reset button. So I'm trying to be very visual for her. Hit the mental reset button and replace it with something more positive, like I only have good days. So she's walking around the house, I only have good days. I only have good days. And as she does this, her twin sister, Madison, runs over her foot with a scooter. And she said, Madison, I only have good days. And she came to me and she said, if I said I only have good days, why did Madison run over my foot? And I said, because you didn't really believe it in every cell of your soul. And you will be tested always on that belief system. But it's your perception to see that as just a test or a lesson or something else. But it has nothing to do with your sister. This is your belief system. So my belief system is I only have good days. I analyze all of my thoughts. Whenever I'm about to be tripped up, become aggravated by something, I instantly go into, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? Has nothing to do with anyone else. Remember, why am I feeling this way? If I'm getting tripped up about something, it's about something within me. If I don't like something about what somebody else is doing, it's usually a reflection of what I don't like about myself. How many of you have ever experienced those people that just drive you insane? I'm going to put about a 99% wager that it's because they're reflecting back to something you don't like about yourself. Whether it's in that current moment or something that you did in the past. When I see emotionally unavailable people, sometimes my first reaction is to get really frustrated because they're doing something that I used to do and I wasn't happy about it. And it causes this sense of irritation that the second I recognize why I'm being irritated, it can go away. The thoughts you think create your reality. The words you choose. If I say to you, I am going to try to lose weight, or I will lose weight by January 1st, who's going to get the better result? I will. Often we don't even realize the words that we're choosing are defining our outcome. And by the way, if you want people to follow you and you're saying, I will try to succeed this year in business, could you please give me $100,000 to invest? Or I will, and I'll make sure that it's $1 million this year. Who's going to give me money? A big difference. When you say, I will try, when someone says, I will try to me, I know they're not doing it. I've totally cut them out of the picture at that moment. The second they say try, and I will say try means you're not. You will or you won't. I'm not counting on anyone with a try, because that means that their one foot is out the door. Maybe something better might come along. Maybe they kind of want to lose weight, but that chocolate, they just can't resist. Try the words that you use. Really analyze. The foods that you eat. Dr. Vonda was talking about this earlier. The foods that you eat affect your personality. I had a massive sugar addiction. I'm not kidding, addiction as a child. Do you know where that came from? My need to comfort my chaos in my childhood. Once I'm healed, I have no sugar addiction whatsoever. I actually realized when my twins were little and I was so sleep deprived, for years, sleep deprived, how important sleep really was and how better I functioned in the world with sleep. I took that for granted in my 20s because you just don't really realize how important it is for all of your functionality. And I realized that sugar actually depleted my energy instantly. One day I was at a Halloween party at my children's school, and I ate the top of a cupcake. By the way, cupcake icing was my number one downfall. I went back to my office, and I felt like crawling under my desk. I couldn't mentally think. I was not creative by any means. I was short-tempered, and I did not feel like engaging with anyone. And I realized at that very moment, I no longer have time for birthday cake icing. Do you see how different that is? Not that I can't have it. Now that's a scarcity mindset. I have no time for it. I can have it whenever I want if I decide that I have time for it, but I really don't have time to feel tired. I don't have time to be off my game. And I don't like feeling cranky because I get on my own nerves. So I don't want to eat those things because I don't want to feel that way. Totally different. I feel like our diet mindset in our society has created an increase in obesity. Psychological flip right there. Psychological flip from I can't have that to I don't have time for it. Do you see how powerful that shift is? I can have pasta whenever I want. But I know that if I eat it, I'm going to feel exhausted. So I better not have a meeting or anything after that, right?
The federal health insurance marketplace is now open. That means you're free to shop for the health plan that's right for you. UPMC Health Plan has some of the most affordable plans on the marketplace. And they all give you full in-network access to UPMC, plus other doctors and hospitals in your community. Visit upmchealthplan.com or call 1-855-297-UPMC to learn why so many people have chosen UPMC Health Plan. Enroll today.
But I choose to feel good. It's a different respect to food. The people you surround yourself with, mindfulness. Are these people depleting your energy or lifting you up? I have a power posse. I know all of my friends in my power posse. I could call at any moment and they will lift me up. They will inspire me. I could look at my Facebook feed and feel like all my friends wrote 5 books and went on 5 speaking tours before I got out of bed in the morning. And I think to myself, my gosh, I got to get going. I'm missing out. It's a great day. Everyone's doing things. By the way, Facebook feeds can be really toxic, really toxic. Mine is not, but I learned this because one of my friends used my computer, went to her Facebook account, forgot to log out, and I woke up one day and I started looking at this Facebook feed and I'm like, why is everyone complaining? Oh, it's just awful. Who are these people? Until I realized I was in her account. And I called her and I said, girlfriend, you need to delete all of your friends immediately. Except for me. Because that was the most toxic thing I have ever seen first thing in the morning. It literally gave me the icks all day. The people you surround yourself with lift you up or deplete you down. Now, I know there's some of the family members that you can't get away from or the people sitting in a cubicle next to you. I get it. Create no expectations for those people. Expectations are the number one thing that cause pain in all people, by the way. Expectations. Your expectations of another person to be who you think that they should be versus who they are. The opposite of expectations is acceptance. The more you start to accept people for who they are and have no expectations of them, or very little, the more free you will be, I promise you. The people you surround yourself with affect your energy level. Choose wisely. And when you go into a place without expectations, you don't let them affect you because you haven't allowed them to have any meaning to you. See the difference in that? The things that you watch on TV, I know people think TV is entertainment. Guess what? If you are watching negative, toxic things, I promise you your energy will be down and it psychologically affects you. And there's tons of research studies around this. My boyfriend and I got in the biggest, I don't want to say argument, heated discussion when we first started dating because I refused to watch movies with him. That I don't even really like to watch movies because it's too much time frame for me to have to sit still. But if I do, I want them to be uplifting and inspiring, and I want to feel like I can take on the world when I'm done watching them. And he likes to do the guys blow up movies and stuff. And I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not. And he thought I was joking. He was like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm not. I'll go read a book. I'll go spend my time more wisely. I'm not watching these movies or TV shows that negatively impact my life. I don't have enough time to waste. And now it's an ongoing joke. And he watches those movies by himself. I've not yet got him to see the different perspective. However, what you watch does impact your life. What you read, the music you listen to on TV. Now, time is ticking really fast, so I'm going to go through all these habits really fast. The second habit that empowered people have is they live with gratitude every single day. They express gratitude all day, every day. They encourage gratitude. They have gratitude journals. Even for the smallest little things, they express gratitude. And by the way, it feels so good to express gratitude. There's an old paradigm shift that if you express gratitude or appreciation too much, then somebody would not do enough more. My dad had that belief system. It's the craziest thing ever. But it exists. It really does exist for a lot of people still. They think if I give this person praise, then they're not going to continue to perform higher, versus if I give that person praise. I know I function with praise. We all do. I function with gratitude, and I love expressing gratitude. And the more you do it, your endorphins go up when you express gratitude, when you live in a state of gratitude. If someone's getting on your nerves, shift to a state of gratitude and think of all the things that you like about them and focus on those things immediately. And it'll change your relationship with them because you have control of that perception of that relationship. You can change your relationship with them instantly. Detox the drainers and increase the enhancers is my mantra. Detox the drainers and increase the enhancers. So if somebody is toxic in your life, you don't have to scold them. Oh, you're terrible. You're annoying. I am not going to be friends with you anymore, because that's your ego needing to be heard. You just distance yourself from them. Period. End of story. Just distance. If they ask why you're distancing yourself, just say, because I am feeling that I need something else in my life. Or I don't feel like we're on the same page, and it's okay. You're where you are and I am where I am, and that's okay. But if you berate them, now you've just locked into your ego and did an ego trip. And you don't need to do that, because that's not an empowered thing. Gratitude. Create a gratitude journal so you get locked into gratitude. So gratitude is just innate in you all day, every day. The next thing is forgiveness. And this is one of the ones that everyone gets tripped up on the most. As I gave you the story in the beginning, gratitude allows you to be grateful for people, grateful for every circumstance in your life, grateful for every one of my childhood circumstances formed who I am today, and I am grateful for that. So it is so easy for me to forgive every person and thing that ever happened to me. Forgiveness is, if you're not holding on to forgiveness, if you're not living a life of forgiveness, you have shackles on your feet and cinder blocks on your feet. It only hurts you. Guess what? All the people you're mad at don't even care, which is why you're mad at them. It's the truth. It's so silly. That's why you're mad at them, and they don't care. So let them go. Let yourself go. That energy depletion that comes from anger is not worth it to you. Your energy is literally depleted when you are angry, when you are mad at somebody. Your energy is free when you're filled with love and gratitude. So don't allow someone else to keep those shackles on your feet. Forgive them. You don't even have to go and say, I forgive you, because now you're creating confrontation. And then they're going to be defensive because they didn't think they did anything wrong. Just forgive them. Say a prayer, bless them, and be free. The next thing is living a life of compassion. And I addressed this with my father. By the way, I forgot to tie the connection between pain and purpose. I live a life to empower and inspire people with the intention to empower and inspire as many people as possible to know they're capable and worth more than they ever thought was possible, especially to women. And that connection is because of what I saw as a child. I lived that life. What became my pain is my purpose. Do you understand the correlation, how it comes together? So with compassion, you can set people free. With forgiveness a heck of a lot more easy, because you understand that anyone that's angry or being mean is coming from a place of pain. They're just in pain. If you could simply see that, you could either A, walk away and feel free, or B, try and help them. I tell my daughters that when kids are at school and they're being mean to another kid, it has nothing to do with you or any other child. It's because they are in pain. People always get the kid correlation so much easier. It's the same thing for adults. We're all big kids with some pain and some wounds, right? Say to my daughters, if a kid's mean, it's because they are projecting the pain that they're having at home, something that they're witnessing at home. And they're projecting, they feel if they could project their pain, they could get rid of it. And that's not the truth. They can't. It only causes more damage in other people's lives. So for you, for my daughters, I tell them, whenever somebody throws out anger or pain, see it as a rock, a heavy, heavy rock. And you can either pick up that rock and put it in your backpack, but you got to carry it around with you for the rest of your life, or you could just leave it on the ground, which is probably a lot lighter and easier for you. Because when we pick up somebody else's stones, we do carry them around, and it becomes weight in our life for the rest of our life. And so you can visually see when someone's throwing that, they're just projecting their own pain. And it probably has nothing to do with you, and you can diffuse it. Every time someone comes at me with their stuff, I will simply say, I'm sorry to see that you are in so much pain. And obviously this has nothing to really do with me. And if you would like me to work with you and how to get through that pain and talk to you about really where this is coming from, then I would gladly do that. And if you don't, we're going to just disconnect at this moment because I'm not taking on your pain. I can help you through it, but I'm not taking it on. And it has helped so many people, girlfriends, who've come at me. And I would love to share the stories so that you could translate them into your life, but we're running out of time. But when you say that to somebody, it diffuses somebody. Another thing that you instantly can shift your relationships with people, when you want to discuss something with somebody and you feel angry or upset or hurt about something, begin with this. My perception is this based on my life experiences, which could be totally wrong. My interpretation could be completely off, but this is how I feel based on my life experiences because that's all I can base it on. And when you have a confrontation with a friend or a spouse or a coworker and you begin that way, you've taken all responsibility. And that person is way more willing to listen to you. If you say, you did this to me, they're just shutting down and they're going to become defensive. The reason we want to communicate more effectively is to really connect intimacy. Confrontation can increase intimacy in every single relationship, not just an intimate relationship, all relationships. Most people avoid confrontation and then they build up all this resentment and all these stories in their mind, where if they just address it right on that moment, they would eliminate so much stress from their lives. And if you begin it by taking responsibility, I feel this way based on my life experiences. You've now taken ownership and someone's willing to listen to you. You've opened up for them to be more compassionate to you. Being compassionate for other people is a habit of an empowered person. Living without judgment. Do not judge, be inspired. Do not judge, be inspired. Any moment you go into judgment, try and be inspired by that moment. Another one, empowered people live with the desire to empower and inspire other people. They wake up every morning and say, how can I change lives? How can I impact people? So if you're focused on that, all the other needless dramas and drains in your life, you can't even hear or see because you're focused on bigger things. You're focused on empowering, inspiring other people. If you woke up every day and said, how can I change at least one person's life today? Imagine how focused you would be on positive, productive things, right? The next thing is my mom had this mantra, and I'm carrying it on into my generation and my daughter's generation. Have complaint free days. My mom would always say, you are not allowed to complain about something unless you do something about it. You have lost all rights and privileges to complain unless you're going to back it up with a solution. I invented a lot of products. You don't think that came from that? Because anytime I went to complain about something, I created a solution, which equaled an invention. So if you want to teach your children to be innovators and inventors, raise them with that same mantra. If you're complaining, then you're not in a state of gratitude, correct? You can complain about something with an intention of a solution, like why are all handbags buckets? Why wouldn't there be compartments in there so that women could be more organized? There's a solution, right? So having complaint-free days, and you can have an accountability partner in this. Some people complain and they don't even realize that they're complaining. So if you have an accountability partner in it, kind of like the gym, right? You have somebody go, oh, you just complained. Because sometimes we're in these habits where we don't even realize, right? Another habit, which is a very simple one. I'm going to leave you with this because we're running out of time if we're not completely out already. This is the most simple one, and people giggle because it's so obvious, but it really is transformative for many. Smile more. It's that simple. If you're walking at somebody and smiling, if those of you in the back, when you all walked in, whoever I saw, I smiled and said hello, didn't you feel a heck of a lot more welcome to be here? It changes everything. When you smile at people, it makes them want to come to you and connect with you. They're like, oh, this is a friendly person. But if you're not smiling and you're like this, young girls, I tell this all the time, the duck face does not make you look happier or prettier. It makes you look angry. And I tell my daughters all the time that that's not allowed to happen because they want to look happy. And happiness is the most attractive quality. Ask ladies, ask any guy, any of your guy friends, husbands, anyone. When you ask a guy, there's a guy in the back of the room right here. A woman who is smiling and happy is the most attractive to a guy because they're not afraid of them. They're like, wow, this person's going to be fun and exciting and happy. It's beautiful to smile. Smiling more allows people to want to be around you and connect with you. And if you change one habit and that's it, I guarantee you'll see so many more people wanting to connect with you and be around you. I promise you that. And I'm going to leave you with this last thought. Never allow someone to dim your light because they are unaware of their own darkness. Instead, shine your light so bright that you can only illuminate theirs. Thank you all very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for joining me this week for this episode of Hot for Your Health. You know, you are a powerful force in your own health, and I'm excited that you took the time this Thursday to learn more from our nation's authorities in health. I hope that you subscribe so that you don't miss one single episode. Join us next week for Hot for Your Health, and for more information, find it at womenshealthconversations.com.